Good morning. I'm the Moon Mama. How y'all doing today? Happy Wednesday. Let me say, I have been tired. If you can't hear it in my voice, like it's just this deep, uh. But that's the Mercury retrograde and the eclipse and all that kind of stuff goes on for me when we go through this kind of energetic shifts. Like I just feel tired at a deep level, but I also feel energized in this really weird way too. It's so fucking ridiculously kind of confusing. So the moon today is, and no. Today is a Mercury day. Yes. And Mercury is retrograde in Cancer. So Mercury is the planet that governs our perceptions, how we perceive reality. This stuff is so subtle, and because we're so toxic and we're watching all the TV and we're not meditating, most of us, and we're not spending time in nature, we miss the subtleties of life. We miss that life is really about this subtle energy. And there's this book called Power versus Force. And most of us live from the space of force and not from the space of power. And so check that out. But to my point, Mercury is this subtle energy, this thought energy, this perception. What you call something is what it is. Another book is The Course in Miracles. The Course in Miracles really breaks this down in a way that makes it really clear, but it's also a very heady book. So when I did The Course in Miracles, I really struggle with it. For years I struggled with it, and I still struggle with it, and it's amazing. And so I think that you should go check out The Course in Miracles. But perception creates reality. That's my point. Perception creates reality. What you say something is how you have to experience it as such. So if I look at something and I go, that's ugly, I experience it as ugly. If I look at something and I say, that's beautiful, that's kind, then I will experience it as such. Something is what we say it is. And that's the power of, the God presence within us, to be able to make something, to say that, to be able to experience what we call it. Like it's the I am presence, and we're projecting it out, and we're creating it, and we're creating realities from within our own thinking and within our own perception, within our own perceived consciousness. We're creating things, and that's Mercury. And Mercury is currently in Cancer, and Cancer brings us back to our early childhood foundations, right? So just think of how you perceived reality as a child. And think of how you were conditioned to perceive reality. Like we were told, this is good and this is bad. This works and this doesn't. You should do this, you shouldn't do that. We're being told how to perceive reality. Now, there's nothing wrong with that because, we are, we're in a culture and we're in a society, and we want everyone to buy in because everyone's buy-in makes it work. We all agree, but right now it's all coming undone because it hasn't been working. It hasn't been working in the way that everyone would thrive. It's been working in the way that only a few thrive. So it's time for us now to perceive a new reality. And Mars is square Mercury today. And Mars is in Aries. And we're in this energy of beginning again, right? So we have Mars in Aries, which is early beginnings, like your first breath beginning. And then we have Cancer, Mercury in Cancer, which is your early childhood foundations. So this is an incredible time to call forth that energy from our early childhood foundations and make something else with it. That's what a square says. A square says you have to make something with it. It's this. It's like, okay, so how do these two things come together and what are they going to make? And so, what am I doing today? Let me see. I hadn't even thought about it. So, I'm with clients today. And what do I want for this day to be for myself? Okay, great. I've been doing healing of the masculine energy through my father's lineage because that's an early childhood thing, yeah. And I have been doing forgiveness work because I feel like I've been holding shame around my body, around my sexual, it's not even sexual desire, it's around the way I use my sexual energy. That's what I've been holding shame around, the way I use my sexual energy. And I've been doing work to forgive myself, and how that is showing up. I've been looking at it in my lineage, like who my father was, and I was doing some meditation and seeing that my father carried shame about the way he treated my mother. He also carried shame because he was afraid of women. You know, a lot of men are afraid of women and hate women. And here's why. Because women have been, we've been so manipulative, and we've not been using our power in ways that uplift and nurture. We've been using our power to manipulate, to get money, to have our needs met in ways that are not loving and honest and reciprocal. But we've been doing it because we're in this culture and we don't know any other way to do it. That's really all it is, right? This culture is manipulative and cunning and money grabbing and money seeking. And so we have assumed that that's the only way, but that's not the only way. There is another way. And as women, we have access to something that men don't have access to. And we've not been nurturing and cultivating our divine spiritual gifts, the goddess within, which would take a lot of pressure off of the masculine to have to function in this 3D reality where it's all hustle and strife and getting and, competition and mask wearing. If women would be more in our divine feminine, in our magic, and in our fluidity and in our juiciness, we would create another frequency. But this Western way of thinking that says you need a man and you have to get married, all of that dries you up. Like, and I mean, that might sound sexual, but I don't mean it that way. It dries up your flow, your magic, your freedom. It keeps you in your head and out of your body. And so you don't have the magic, and then you begin to manipulate and, feel like you have to force and be cunning and all of that kind of stuff, because you lose access to your purity. You lose access to your divine goodness. You lose access to that magic, that mystical energy that just comes natural to women, because we buy into the 3D reality that says that money is the source and the thing. I'm telling you, one of my favorite movies, 12 Years a Slave. Whoo, that movie is such a it's so good. In the beginning of the film, you see these slaves and you see the white man talking to them. And then you see the man who's the lead character in, like slave quarters, and there's a woman laying next to him, and she's starting to have a sexual experience with him. She's forcing him into a sexual experience. And then you see him in bed with his wife, and they're in New York and white sheets and all of that sort of stuff. And she's saying to him, take this job. You're going to make, $5 a day or something. And then you see him get captured by these slave capture people, whatever you call them. I don't know. But it was because of the money. And what I see in that is that women are the source of abundance, not men. Women are the source to magic, to connection, to possibilities, to realities. And when we bring our energy down and begin to rely on money, on this paper substance that's truly an illusion, we lose our magic because you don't need the magic anymore. If you just feel like, well, I can go get what I want because I have money. You don't have to rely on your magic, your connection to source. You come out of your heart and your body and you move into your head. So I'm not going to talk a lot about that because that's a lot. But this is where we land today. So use the energy today to go into your family structure and see how you learn to rely on the material reality and how that reliance has cut you off from your divine gifts. Okay, peace and blessings. I said a lot. Join the Mercury Retrograde class. We're going to be talking about forgiveness tonight, and we're going to be talking about forgiveness, and we're teaching the rituals to shift this energy. We only have a few more days in Mercury retrograde. This energy is very powerful. You can join in my link tree here. I'm starting a new moon cycle beginning on the 12th. We're going to be doing a new moon in Cancer again. Join. It's going to be really powerful. Here's the thing. It's time for us to harness our energies so that we can really tap in and live the life we're supposed to live. What's going on in the world right now is attempting to distract us from that. And so the polarities are really strong, but that means that there's a lot of power and a lot of energy available. But you have to go deep. You have to go deep. And if you want it, you can have it, but you have to go deep. Okay, peace and blessings. Reach out to me if you want to do readings or anything like that. All right, I love y'all. Bye.